G'day viewers, my name's Graham Stevenson and I'd like to invite you to come on a journey of creativity and learning and adventure through the series Colour in Your Life. There's an artist in every family throughout the world, and lots of times there's an artist deep down inside all of us as well. So grab your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your aunties, uncles and mums and dads and come and see how some of the best artists in Australia do what they do.
Well, good day viewers and welcome back to Colour in Your Life, where we're in south central Queensland today in a region called North Burnett, and I'm with a lovely lady called Teresa May.
How you going, Graham?
Good, Teresa, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Well, we're going to go through 3 different techniques today with Teresa. She's got a really individual style. I think what she does is fantastic, but she uses a lot of different pieces of just about flotsam and jetsam that the country has to offer.
Anything you can find.
Anything you can find. And Teresa actually lives on a cattle station. Well, it's a
farm. We're farmers.
Cattle farm.
Yeah.
I keep thinking of America. But your history is that you actually did a graphics design course at Townsville at one stage.
Yes, I did. I did 12 months in Townsville of commercial art.
Yeah, and I think that Teresa has a really iconic style. I mean, I just love the way that you present your work. It's just fabulous. But yeah, obviously that really sort of helped you get to where you are now with your particular, it's a very graphic type of work in some sense, isn't it?
I probably moved away from more the technical side of the graphic side of and went towards the illustration.
But it looks fabulous. And the paints that you use, I mean, you use a myriad of different techniques, but also a lot of different types of mediums as well when you put your works together.
Yeah.
But for the first thing today, we're going to go through just with a blank canvas, and you're going to show us some various techniques that you do. I mean, obviously just looking at this is a bit of old rusted metal that you've obviously found on the property somewhere.
Yeah, yes, it's something I found lying around.
But I mean, look at it. I mean, you can see the shapes of, well, somebody said South Africa or Africa, but this could sort of make a tree as well.
Exactly, that's exactly right.
And I think it's great. And you've got other bits and pieces. You've got foam here as well.
I do.
And I've seen this in the backgrounds of Teresa's work, and it really is just, it's a fantastic technique. It's just amazing. So what are we going to do today and where are we going to start?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm going to use this stencil that I found, and I'm going to just lay it in different positions and get some colours down and go from there.
Let's have a look then.
We'll have a go.
Ah, there you go.
Away.
And you just lay it down there, just a template?
Yep, I'm just going to use it and move it around.
Ah, that's really cool, isn't it?
Okay, well, I'll just keep laying it over, and I'm just after some nice, interesting shapes. I don't want it to be too contrived. I mean, I might decide that I really like how this looks when I'm finished, and I'll work with that.
Yeah.
I won't, you know. Sometimes that happens. Something will go down and you see a really interesting pattern or a shape, and you go, wow, I'm going to keep that, and I'll use that. And sometimes it will inspire me to create something from that.
But it's sort of an ongoing process for you.
Absolutely.
It's just experimentation all the way through the whole process.
Absolutely. I mean, even if something that I've done doesn't work out and you've put colours down, I just keep working over the top.
Excellent.
Just keep working over it until I'm basically happy with what I've got.
That's very cool, very cool. And these particular styles, I mean, you're obviously a big fan of Margaret Woodward.
Oh, I love
from what I can see.
Yeah,
and so who else has really influenced you on
I
that?
love Damien Kamoltz's work.
Yeah.
Sydney Long.
Yep, Sydney Long, yeah.
And Rex Backhouse-Smith. I love the colours that he uses in his paintings. He has beautiful bright colours.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I suppose that, in a sense, as we've discussed before, there's a lot of, I mean, you'll pick out certain individuals whose work you really like, and you sort of say, well, what do I take from that? I mean, sort of all the isms have been done, and you know, good artists steal, they don't copy.
No,
which is what we do. So, you know, and part of that sort of comes together to make the style that you're developed as well.
That's exactly right. Well, you make it your own by working, really.
Sure.
I might add a bit more colour to that while I'm going. Just so if I do a gesso wash over it, there's an undercolour.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get some colours down, just have some fun and get some coverage on the board, and then later on we'll see, I'll put some washes over the top and try and pick out some of those colours to come through the gesso.
Definitely, and it's really, this is very much about experimentation.
Absolutely.
And it's like,
there's no wrong way.
There's no wrong or there's right.
No.
It's just you're putting down your feelings with the information and the tools that you have to sort of go, I feel that that's okay, that looks good.
Yep.
And then from looking at your work, I see that Teresa actually says, oh, okay, there's something there that I can utilise, and I'll pick it out. Well, we're going to go through a couple of other pieces later on, and we'll be able to see that in the process. But
it's a good way to loosen up.
Yeah, it's
like
great.
when you come in, just to loosen up and get started, basically. So I'm just going to get a little bit more colour down, and then I'll leave it to sit.
And you're just sort of going with the flow.
Well, I am. Yeah. I am today.
But it's just very interesting in your approach.
That should give some colour to come through the gesso wash.
Sure,
I mean, I might, even after putting the gesso wash on and I've done the other technique that I'm going to show you, I can just keep layering colours over the top and get some more patterns and things.
I can see you've got a piece of foam there as well.
I do.
And it looks, and if you look at some of the backgrounds of Teresa's work, I think it's fascinating because from what I can gather, you actually take some colour and you pour it on top here and then place it onto the canvas, but you can actually see all of these tiny little innuendos of what the foam makes coming up in the back of the shot, which I think looks really, really cool. So can we try that as well?
We can. I'll give it a little bell. It's an
Excellent.
expensive piece of equipment, that one.
So how do we go about this?
Well, I've got a little bit of paint here mixed up, and I might just spread it on.
And you
it
just
looks like
spread
Vegemite, doesn't it?
You just spread it across like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll just start placing it on.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Look at that.
You never know with something until you actually try it.
Yeah.
So you might see something, and I think I just picked this up by accident. I was doing something and trying to smooth something off, and all of a sudden I had all these beautiful spots, and I thought,
So
wow,
how did that come about?
That's, you know, it might be the under pattern for feathers or anything that's going
Dinosaur skin?
Exactly. Snakes.
So in saying that, once again, this is really a technique for just layering down Teresa May's backgrounds.
That's it, it's grounds.
Yeah.
It's grounds, and it just, you know.
There's really no direction, there's just a lot of feeling and experimentation with it.
That's exactly right.
And then you start to pick other things out. But you've actually prepared another one, which we're going to go to now. And then we're going to do a technique called a gesso wash.
That's it, that's just a little technique that I've developed, So.
And it's going to bring us to the final result of where we're going today. So let's go and have a look at that one then.
Okay.
Great. Okay, Teresa, now we've put this one on the floor that you've prepared beforehand.
Yes.
And it sort of looks like, as you said, there's just a lot of experimentation and emotion in it. But there's some other techniques that you're going to show us as well.
I am. I've just gone over an old painting, and I've just randomly put things down. So now I've just got gesso and water.
Okay.
And I'm just going to cover a lot of it, really, and let the colour underneath come through. I'm going to use some of the alcohol.
Rubbing alcohol?
Rubbing alcohol, yeah. Just a little trick, a little technique.
So what percentage of the gesso and the water do you put in there?
It's probably the consistency of runny cream, probably, yeah.
Right.
And if it's too wet, the gesso will come back in on itself.
Oh, okay.
But if it's too dry, it won't disperse.
But I think the thing I like about your work is that as you begin them, there's no direction, but when you're finished, there's an absolute. You can see that you've really had a purpose on getting where you needed to go, but you're not really quite sure when you start.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't even need to cover it completely. I'll see how I feel about it. I mean, I can always come back and do more.
I mean, that looks fascinating just on its own.
It's great, isn't it?
Quite amazing.
And you'll notice the acrylic spray paint, it does resist a little bit.
Yeah.
But I quite like that effect. It leaves, you know, colours and things coming through.
Yeah, sort of pops in certain areas.
I don't mind that.
So do you find that, obviously, we're out in central Queensland, the drought's been quite horrendous.
It has,
for all of you guys.
It has.
Do you find that the harshness of the environment that you're living in at the moment reflects in your work as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When you're driving through, the whole landscape has changed. And sometimes when it's dry, as an artist, you're lucky because you can see beauty around you, even though it's dry and the grass is brown. Sometimes that's a lovely thing. So I've got it to this stage.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring it up to the table.
Okay.
When I've got to that point there, I can see there's a glimpse of something that I think, you know, it reminds me of the mountains as we're driving in, and I can see something. So maybe that might be somewhere that I might head with that.
So, so where does the rubbing alcohol come in?
Okay, I'll show you that little technique.
Okay.
Okay, it's starting to go off, so I'll see how we go. So as we spray it on, just let it drop, even from a little bit height. Just watch it doesn't get you, but it's a little bit exciting.
I mean, I think if you take a close look at some of these here, it looks like that ceramic effect you can get in pottery sometimes. And there's just little pictures popping out all over the place, isn't there?
Yeah.
Just with the rubbing alcohol. I mean, I have seen people use the turpentine, but I think, from what I can see, that the rubbing alcohol is much more effective in getting those patterns.
Yeah.
So from here, what would you do with this now?
I'd probably just let this dry because I've got enough going on at this moment, and I would probably just sit it in the corner and watch it and see what comes out and pops out.
And generally you'd have a few of these going, would you?
Yeah, definitely.
To keep the continuity going.
Yes, definitely.
But what we're going to do now is that Teresa's sort of extensively started on another piece, and we're going to go over there and let her work on some techniques. It's a really beautiful picture she's done of some curlews, but we'll cut to that one and then we'll work on that one for a little while as well. See you soon. Okay, well, as you can see, we've moved on to the third piece that Teresa's going to do today, and she's obviously made quite a substantial start on it, but you've got some gesso in your hand there.
I do.
The funny part about gesso is most people use gesso as a layer to prepare the canvas, whereas you actually use it as a medium. I like the fact that these geometric patterns are still left behind from the original gesso layers that you put down.
Yeah, sometimes I use them for getting patterns within it, so I just keep working over and finding what I like to pick out, really, yeah. So yeah, I'm just working into the painting, and I will pick out shapes and things like that.
I think that there's a lot of, as I said, unconscious factor in what you do, and finding those images and those spaces that talk to you as you go through developing the picture.
And I love that place. I love when I get into that place and I'm doing my art. It's a nice place to be, and you can just lose yourself in your picture.
Yeah. So what are you going to do now then?
Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to finish filling in his eye, and I work from the computer.
So this is a stone curlew.
It is a stone curlew, yeah. They're gorgeous little birds. And, we saw some when we were on holidays in Cairns in the backyard of a friend's house, and thought they were just beautiful. Didn't know they were even alive when I saw them. I thought they were statues in her garden.
Yeah. So pretty little birds, aren't they?
Took lots of photos.
Yeah, but you've obviously got a great synergy with, particularly living in the country.
Yeah.
You know, with wildlife and obviously the land. And right, Teresa, there's another technique that I have seen you using that I'm quite sure that the audience hasn't seen. And I'd really like for you to show us that. And it's actually a pen that's got a brush on the end that you put ink in.
It does.
And you use ink like a brush.
It does,
Yeah,
yes.
it's just great. So can we have a look at that?
We can.
If you look at it, it's actually a brush, and it's actually got really quite a fine point on it, hasn't it?
It does. Yep.
And you unscrew it,
Yep.
and you put ink in it.
I've got a little bit of water in there first,
Yeah.
and I'm going to put a couple of drops of the acrylic ink.
Okay.
That's quite strong in pigment, the acrylic ink.
And you just use it like a pen, but it's a brush.
Yeah, you squeeze it and the ink comes through.
Let's have a look.
Okay. Okay, so it's just on a dropper, and I'm just going to put a couple of drops in there.
Yeah.
Depends how strong you want it.
And is that all you need?
I'll see how it goes. If
Right.
if it needs strong, then I can add a little bit more. But
There you go, look at that.
it's pretty intense, the inks.
It is, isn't it?
So
Yeah. But it really gives just a subtle hue
it does,
through everything.
but it does dry with a little bit of a sheen to
Mm-hmm.
it. So I like that fact because it's good contrast with the gesso.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just sit it on my knee here, and I'll just squeeze it
Holy dooly.
and let it run.
And they're just still those random patterns.
Yeah.
But that's obviously
Don't mind
going
the drips
to dull down from where it is there.
It will as
Yeah.
it dries off. It depends on how much ink that you've got in there.
Yeah.
But if you're happy with it, if I'm happy with where that is, I can just go over it again and
Okay.
make it a little bit more intense if I want to. I don't mind it overlapping the birds because it sort of ties it through the picture. I don't want a real hard edge.
Yeah, I just love the subtleness of what that pen can do. That's pretty amazing.
It's gorgeous. Isn't it?
Yeah, just beautiful.
You can get them in like sets of different size tips.
And obviously a myriad of different inks as well.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And they go a long way, the inks. I find you can get a lot of mileage out of a bottle. I like to have some areas dark and some a bit lighter, and it's always making patterns, and I go over some of the gesso, take that harsh edge away and put it into the painting.
Great stuff.
From there I can just set that flat on a table so that
Okay.
it can dry and I can work back into it.
Excellent. Well, let's just, because it's pretty hot today,
It is.
we'll put it out in the sun and we'll come back to it.
All right, great.
Okay, great. Well, as you can see, that ink is actually dried. We just left it out in the sun for about 10 minutes. And it's really just a great technique. I just love the effect that it brings up. But in the process, the beaks sort of tended to disappear.
It has, and you know, that's the nature of the way I work.
Yeah.
I'll bring his beak out again, and
Okay, let's do the beak. So instead of painting the beak in, you've just changed the aspect of the background.
that's it.
Aha.
I like to work in negatives.
Very good. Okay, well, you've got some.
Got some Conti,
Okay.
yeah, and I do work into my pictures with a little bit of Conti onto the canvas, and I've worked out a little bit of a technique of sealing the Conti down, or charcoal. Some of the paintings I've used charcoal onto the canvas, and then seal it down and then work over the top of the charcoal.
Okay.
So I'll just demonstrate a little bit of the Conti that I put on. Whether you can see that. It's another little technique that I've developed to balance my light and dark shapes. So I can put Conti down, and if I don't like where it's at, it's more movable than paint, so I can just wipe that off. I can go in and work out, okay, this light area is, trial that light area and see how it fits.
Yeah, but the thing I like about your work is you use a lot of different mediums.
Yeah.
Just great. There's just stuff going on everywhere. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, so, and I've sort of got an area here that I'm working towards breaking up. Once I've achieved that with my chalk, and there's an area that I'm really happy with, I'm going to seal it into the canvas with the spray.
Okay.
So
So you're going to. Okay.
Yeah, same technique as
Sure.
I use on this with the charcoal.
Yeah.
So it fixes it onto there, and it creates a layer over the top of the.
Sure.
the
So
Conti.
I mean, once again, you know, it's sort of somebody might have thought use a brush, but you're going to use a spray bottle
I am.
so that nothing actually touches the surface.
No, that's it. I don't want to disturb what
There you
I've
go.
just put on there.
There you go.
So I've got an Atelier matte medium varnish because it's workable, but I don't leave the spray bottle on because it gets clogged up really easily. So I'll leave it like that, and then I'll replace the squirty bottle.
Oh, so you've really sort of got to make sure it's clear.
When you've finished using it,
Yeah.
upside down in the water so that it doesn't
Sure.
wreck your
Another
spray
really
bottle.
good tip there, guys.
Okay.
Okay, medium.
So that's my matte medium varnish.
Matte medium.
And I'm happy with this, and I don't want to lose those lovely spotty
Yeah.
effects. And I've also got this bit here with the Conti.
We just spray it on. How's that?
Yep.
That's
Just a
great.
light spray. Like if there's Conti or charcoal, anything like that, I just lightly spray it over and let it dry.
Yep.
Come back, give it another coat. You can do that, you know, depending on if it's a real drawn-on piece. The more layers, the better
Sure.
to hold it there. So.
But I think that's a great technique in using the medium as well.
So that's a good stopping point for there. I'm still going to work into these birds and bring out their feathers and do all those sorts of things.
But that's excellent. Well, okay, guys, another really sensational day of education.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Wonderful to be out here in North Burnett. As I've said before, the guys are really suffering out here with the drought. It really is quite extraordinary what's going on.
It is.
Yeah, it's amazing. But there is still a great deal of creativity.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
apart from cows and
Yeah,
gold and the drought.
You need to have some brightness.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do.
And we hope to get out here a little bit more. There are some really creative people.
There's
in
some
this
fantastic people in
It's
this
been
area that are painting wonderful things.
Fantastic. We'd also like to thank Arts Queensland once again for enabling the Colour in Your Life team to come out here and be with you guys.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the support of Arts Queensland and their vision to really support the regional areas in Queensland, you know, it would make it impossible for you and I to obviously get together, which is important.
It's a great experience. Yes.
Absolutely. Don Moore, who is the Mayor of the North Burnett region.
Yes.
Thank you, sir, for what you've done, and also Jeanette Holleran. And Jeanette was one of the key factors in putting everybody together.
She was.
Fantastic
she's
lady,
wonderful.
and we applaud her for her efforts as well. Your website before we go is?
Artworks2teresamay.com.
And also come in and see us at colourinyourlife.com.au and also on our Facebook page at Colour in Your Life as well. But we're going to head out of here. It's been a fabulous time up in North Burnett.
Thank you, Graham.
Thank you once again.
It's been great.
So
Thank
much
you.
for having us in your studio. Remember all of those creative people out in the whole of Australia. I mean, hopefully we'll be able to get to you at some stage as well. But till we meet again, guys, remember, make sure you put some colour in your life. We'll see ya. Bye now. See ya.